I, 28F, never thought I'd be pouring my heart out on the internet, but here I am. My life has been a series of betrayals and heartbreaks, all because of my twin sister, Lily, 28F. We were once inseparable, but now I can barely stand to hear her name. Growing up, Lily and I were mirror images of each other. We shared everything: clothes, friends, even our dreams. Our parents, Mark, 55M, and Diana, 53F, always treated us equally. At least, that's what I thought until we hit our teenage years. From a young age, Lily and I were competitive. We'd race to see who could finish their homework first, who could get the highest grades, who could make the most friends. It was always friendly, though. We pushed each other to be better. I remember when we were 10, we both joined the school choir. Lily had a beautiful voice, and I was so proud of her when she got the solo in our Christmas concert. I cheered louder than anyone else in the audience. But things started to change when we entered middle school. It started small. Lily would borrow my clothes without asking, or take credit for my ideas in school projects. I brushed it off as typical sister stuff. But as we got older, her behavior became more manipulative. There was this boy in our class, Ryan. I had the biggest crush on him, and Lily knew it. I spent weeks working up the courage to talk to him. When I finally did, he seemed interested. We started hanging out at lunch, and I was over the moon. But then, one day, I saw Lily flirting with him. She was using all the information I'd shared with her about his interests, pretending to like the same bands and movies. Within a week, they were dating. When I confronted her, she just shrugged and said, "He likes me better. It's not my fault." That was just the beginning. She'd sabotage my friendships by spreading rumors. Once, she told my best friend, Megan, that I had been talking behind her back. It took months to repair that friendship, and it was never quite the same. It was like Lily was trying to erase me and take my place. She'd copy my style, my mannerisms, even the way I laughed. It was unsettling, like living with a doppelganger who was trying to replace me. The breaking point came during our senior year of high school. I had always loved writing, and I'd been working on a short story for months. It was for a prestigious writing competition, the kind that could open doors for college admissions and future careers. I poured my heart into that story, staying up late night after night to perfect every word. The night before the deadline, I was doing one final edit when I heard a noise. I looked up to see Lily sneaking out of my room, clutching something in her hand. When I confronted her, I saw she had my USB drive, the one with my story on it. Lily broke down crying, saying she was jealous of my writing skills and just wanted to feel special for once. She promised she was just going to read it, not steal it. Like an idiot, I believed her and let it go. I even comforted her, telling her that her paintings were just as good as my writing. The next day, I submitted my story to the competition. Weeks later, I received a rejection letter. I was devastated, but Lily seemed oddly happy. It wasn't until the winners were announced that I realized why. Lily had won first place with my story. She had submitted it as her own, changing only the name on the paper. I was furious. I tried to tell our parents, but Lily had already spun a tale about how she'd been working on the story in secret for months. They believed her, praising her talent and creativity. I felt like I was going crazy. How could no one see what she had done? I tried to prove it was my story. I showed them earlier drafts on my computer, my notes, even the USB drive. But Lily claimed she had emailed herself copies as she worked, and that I must have copied it from her computer. Somehow, she had thought of everything. After that, I distanced myself from Lily and my family. I went to a college across the country, determined to start fresh. For 4 years, I barely spoke to them, focusing on building my own life and career in journalism. During those years, I threw myself into my studies and extracurricular activities. I joined the college newspaper, working my way up from staff writer to editor-in-chief by my senior year. I interned at local newspapers during the summers, building my portfolio and making connections in the industry. It was during my internship at the city newspaper in my junior year that I met Alex, 30M. He was a photographer for the paper, assigned to work with me on a series of articles about local businesses affected by gentrification. We spent long hours together, interviewing shop owners and residents, and I found myself drawn to his passion for storytelling through images. Alex was different from anyone I'd ever met. He was charming and intelligent, with a dry sense of humor that never failed to make me laugh. But more than that, he understood my passion for writing in a way no one else ever had. He would listen for hours as I rambled about story ideas or the latest article I was working on. We started dating towards the end of my internship. At first, I was hesitant. My experiences with Lily had left me with trust issues, and I was afraid of getting hurt again. But Alex was patient. He never pushed me, always respecting my boundaries and giving me space when I needed it. After graduation, We moved in together and started planning our future. Alex encouraged me to apply for jobs at major magazines, believing in my talent even when I doubted myself. With his support, I began to rebuild my confidence as a writer. Last year, I landed an interview for my dream job at a prestigious magazine. It was the kind of opportunity I had been working towards for years. The night before the interview, Alex suggested we celebrate with dinner at our favorite restaurant. As we were getting ready to leave, my phone rang. It was my mom, calling to tell me that Lily had been in a car accident. I was torn. Part of me wanted to ignore the call and go to my interview. But despite everything, Lily was still my sister. I told Alex to go ahead to the restaurant while I booked a flight home. He was supportive, promising to reschedule the interview for me. When I arrived at the hospital, I was shocked to find Lily perfectly fine. There had been no accident. My parents looked confused when I burst into the room, asking what was wrong. Lily just smirked and said, "Oh, did Mom call you?" I must have misunderstood. I just had a fender bender, nothing serious. I was furious. I had missed my interview for nothing. I tried calling Alex to see if he could still help reschedule, but his phone went straight to voicemail. For 3 days, I couldn't reach him. I was starting to worry when I finally got a text from him. The text shattered my world. It read, "I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. I've fallen in love with someone else. Your sister helped me see that we're meant to be together. I hope you can forgive us someday." I couldn't believe it. Lily had done it again. She had stolen my boyfriend, my dream job opportunity, and any remaining trust I had in my family. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. She just said, "You always get everything." I just wanted something for myself for once. I left that day and haven't spoken to any of them since. I blocked their numbers, deleted my social media accounts, and moved to a new city. For the past year, I've been rebuilding my life, trying to heal from the betrayal. I found a job at a small local magazine. It's not my dream job, but it's a start. I've made a few friends at work, but I find it hard to trust people now. Every time someone gets close, I worry they'll turn out to be like Lily or Alex. Yesterday, I received a letter from Lily. She wrote that she's pregnant with Alex's child and wants to reconcile. She says she realizes now how much she's hurt me and wants to make amends. Part of me wants to tear up the letter and continue with my life. But another part wonders if I should hear her out. Am I crazy for even considering it? I don't know what to do. The rational part of me says to stay away, but there's still a small voice wondering if maybe, just maybe, she's changed. I need advice. Should I give Lily a chance to explain herself, or should I continue to keep her out of my life? Update 1. Thank you all for your supportive comments and advice. After reading through everything and spending several sleepless nights weighing my options, I decided to hear Lily out, but on my terms. I agreed to meet her in a public place, a cafe near my new apartment. The week leading up to our meeting was filled with anxiety. I couldn't focus at work, and my nights were plagued with nightmares about Lily and Alex. I kept replaying all the times Lily had hurt me, wondering if I was making a mistake by agreeing to see her. The day of the meeting, I arrived at the cafe an hour early. I chose a table near the back, where I could see the entrance. As I waited, nursing a cup of coffee that had long gone cold, I couldn't help but remember the last time Lily and I had met in a cafe like this. It was right before we left for college. We had agreed to have one last sister date before going our separate ways. For a moment, it had felt like old times. We laughed over inside jokes and shared our hopes for the future. Lily had reached across the table and squeezed my hand, saying, "No matter what happens, you'll always be my other half." The memory left a bitter taste in my mouth now. When I saw Lily walk through the door, I was shocked. She looked terrible, dark circles under her eyes, hair unkempt, and visibly pregnant. For a moment, I felt a pang of sympathy, but I quickly pushed it aside, remembering why we were here. Lily spotted me and hesitated for a moment before walking over. As she sat down, I could see her hands shaking. We sat in awkward silence for a few moments before she finally spoke. "Thank you for meeting me," she said softly. I wasn't sure you would." I didn't respond, just waited for her to continue. Lily took a deep breath and launched into what seemed like a rehearsed speech. She told me how sorry she was for everything she'd done. She said she had always been jealous of me, feeling like she was living in my shadow. She claimed that stealing my story in high school was the first time she felt truly special, and it had become addictive. Each time she hurt me, she told herself it was justified because I had everything. Lily broke down almost immediately, sobbing and apologizing for everything she'd done. She told me that Alex had left her 3 months into the pregnancy, saying he wasn't ready to be a father. She said she realized then how badly she had messed up and how much she missed having me in her life. As she spoke, I found myself remembering all the good times we had shared as children. Building blanket forts in our room, staying up late to whisper secrets, defending each other against schoolyard bullies. It was hard to reconcile those memories with the person sitting across from me now. Lily begged for forgiveness, saying she wanted to make things right. She even offered to confess to our parents about stealing my story in high school and manipulating Alex. Part of me wanted to believe her, to have my sister back. But then she said something that made me pause. She asked if I would consider adopting her baby when it was born. She said she wasn't ready to be a mother and thought I would be perfect for the role. It felt like another manipulation, another attempt to use me. I know it's a lot to ask, she said, her eyes pleading. But I've seen how great you are with kids. Remember how you used to babysit for the neighbors? You were always so patient and kind. I want my baby to have the best life possible, and I think that's with you. I sat there, stunned. It was true that I had always loved children, and there was a time when I had dreamed of having my own family. But to raise Lily's child? Alex's child? The thought made my head spin. I told her I needed time to think and left the cafe feeling conflicted. As I walked home, my mind was a whirlwind of emotions and memories. I thought about all the times Lily had hurt me, but also about the bond we had shared as children. I thought about the baby, innocent in all of this, who deserved a chance at a good life. That night, I called my best friend from college, Rachel. She had been my rock throughout the past year, one of the few people I still trusted completely. I poured out the whole story to her, my voice shaking as I recounted Lily's request. Rachel listened patiently, then said, "Honey, I know you have a big heart. But you need to think about yourself too. Are you really ready to take on a child, especially one with so much baggage attached?" Her words stuck with me. Was I ready? Could I look at this child every day and not see Lily's betrayal or Alex's abandonment? And what would happen when Lily inevitably changed her mind and wanted the baby back? I'm back at square one, unsure of what to do. Should I give Lily another chance? Should I consider her offer about the baby? Or should I walk away for good this time? The decision feels impossible, and I'm torn between my heart and my head. Update 2. It's been a whirlwind few weeks since my last update. After much soul-searching and conversations with trusted friends, I decided to maintain limited contact with Lily but firmly rejected the idea of adopting her baby. The decision didn't come easily. I spent countless nights tossing and turning, weighing every possible outcome. I even went so far as to research adoption laws and speak with a family counselor. In the end, I realized that while I might be capable of raising a child, doing so under these circumstances would likely lead to resentment and pain for everyone involved. I met with Lily again to explain my decision. We met at the same cafe as before, but this time I felt more prepared, more in control. I had rehearsed what I wanted to say, determined to stand my ground. I told her that while I appreciated her apology, the trust between us was irreparably broken. I explained that I was willing to be civil and maybe even build a cautious relationship over time, but I needed strong boundaries. As for the baby, I told her I couldn't take on that responsibility. It wouldn't be fair to me, to her, or to the child. Lily didn't take it well. Her face crumpled, and for a moment, I saw the little girl who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. But then her expression hardened. She accused me of being unforgiving and selfish, saying that family should always come first. She brought up childhood memories, trying to guilt me into changing my mind. When I stood my ground, she stormed out of the cafe, leaving me feeling both relieved and guilty. For the next few days, I struggled with my decision. Had I been too harsh? Should I have given her another chance? But every time I started to doubt myself, I remembered all the pain she had caused me over the years. A few days later, I received a call from my parents. Apparently, Lily had told them everything, about stealing my story, manipulating Alex, and even asking me to adopt her baby. They were shocked and apologetic, saying they had no idea how much Lily had hurt me over the years. Hearing their voices after so long was strange. Part of me wanted to hang up, to protect myself from further pain. But another part, a part I thought had died long ago, yearned for their understanding and support. They asked if we could meet to talk things through as a family. I agreed to a family dinner at a neutral restaurant. It was tense and awkward at first, but as we talked, I felt a weight lifting off my shoulders. My parents listened without interrupting as I shared my side of the story, years of hurt and resentment pouring out. To my surprise, they believed me. They apologized for not seeing what was happening and for inadvertently enabling Lily's behavior. My mom cried as she told me how sorry she was for not protecting me. My dad, usually so stoic, looked devastated as he realized how he had failed me. They promised to do better, to support me and hold Lily accountable for her actions. It wasn't a magical fix, years of hurt don't disappear overnight. But it felt like a start. Lily was quiet throughout most of the dinner, occasionally nodding or wiping away tears. At the end, she looked at me and said, "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to earn it." I left the dinner feeling cautiously optimistic. It's not a fairy tale ending, there's still a lot of work to be done and trust to be rebuilt. But for the first time in years, I feel like I have a chance at having a family again. I'm taking things one day at a time, focusing on my career and personal growth. I've started therapy to work through my trust issues and set healthy boundaries. It's a long road ahead, but I finally feel like I'm on the right path. Update 3. It's been 6 months since my last update, and a lot has changed. I wish I could say things have gotten better, but unfortunately, that's not the case. At first, things seemed to be improving. Lily was going to therapy, my parents were making an effort to rebuild our relationship, and I was slowly starting to trust them again. We had weekly family dinners, and for a while, it felt like we were becoming a real family again. I even started to feel excited about becoming an aunt. Lily and I went shopping for baby clothes together, and for a moment, it felt like old times. We laughed over tiny shoes and debated the merits of different stroller models. I started to believe that maybe, just maybe, we could move past all the hurt and start fresh. But it didn't last. 3 months ago, Lily gave birth to a baby boy. She named him Alex Jr., which should have been my first red flag. I was there for the birth, holding her hand and trying to be supportive. But as soon as the baby was born, I saw a change in Lily's eyes. She looked panicked, overwhelmed. A week after the birth, I received a frantic call from my mom. Lily had disappeared, leaving the baby with our parents and a note saying she couldn't handle it. I rushed over to find my parents distraught and a wailing newborn. My parents begged me to help take care of the baby while they tried to find Lily. Against my better judgment, I agreed. For 2 weeks, I put my life on hold to help care for my nephew. It was exhausting, but I started to form a bond with the little guy. I found myself singing him the same lullabies our grandmother used to sing to us, rocking him to sleep in the old chair in our childhood bedroom. Then, out of nowhere, Lily returned. She acted like nothing had happened, cooing over the baby and thanking everyone for their help. When I tried to talk to her about her disappearance, she brushed it off, saying she just needed a little break. I was hurt and angry, but for the sake of the baby, I tried to keep the peace. The final straw came last week. I was helping my parents sort through some old bills when I discovered several credit card statements in my name, cards I had never opened. After some digging, I discovered that while she was gone, Lily had used my social security number to open several credit cards and rack up thousands of dollars in debt. When confronted, she claimed she did it for the baby and thought I wouldn't mind helping out. She tried to justify it, saying that since I had bonded with the baby, I should want to contribute financially. It was like a slap in the face after everything I had done to help. I was done. I called the police and filed a report for identity theft. My parents were horrified, begging me to reconsider, saying we could work it out as a family. But I've had enough. I'm pressing charges and cutting all ties with Lily. I've also decided to distance myself from my parents. While they're not as directly responsible, their continued enabling of Lily's behavior is something I can't be around anymore. It hurts, but I know it's necessary for my own well-being. I'm moving again, this time to a different state. I've accepted a job offer at a national magazine that I'm excited about, and I'm looking forward to a fresh start. It's bittersweet, I'll miss the relationship I was starting to rebuild with my parents, and I'll always wonder about my nephew. But I know I need to put myself first for once. I've learned the hard way that sometimes, the family you choose is more important than the one you're born into. I'm grateful for the friends who have stood by me through all of this, offering support and a shoulder to cry on when I needed it most. To those who have followed my story and offered advice, thank you. Your support has meant more than you know. This is likely my final update. I'm closing this chapter of my life and looking forward to writing a new one where I'm the author of my own story, and no one can steal that from me again. As I pack up my apartment and prepare for my move, I feel a mix of emotions. There's sadness for what could have been, anger at the years of manipulation, but also hope for the future. I don't know what lies ahead, but for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to find out.